This is Peter Lau. Today is Tuesday, June 11th. I'm at 710 Norumbega Drive, Monrovia, California. I'll be entering through the rear side cleanout. This is the backyard area. This is the left side of the house. And then the cleanout is located directly in this gravel. This is the cap for it, and this is the cap for the cleanout. And in a brief moment, we will be transitioning to the end of the sewer line, as that provides the clearest video. We're about 156 feet into the main sewer line where it ties in with the city sewer at a depth of 9 feet. I'll be making my way back towards the access point. Currently working our way back from clay piping, as that's very typical to see. Most cities will use clay for their sewer line materials. So things that I'm looking out for within the clay portion of the line, I'm looking for offsets, root intrusions, and cracks. Those are the three most common things that are seen on these kind of inspections. And if we run into those issues, I will elaborate further. So the distance indicator is noted on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. The number is decreasing because, if you'll remember, we are working our way back from the city sewer connection. So as I'm pulling, that number will decrease. So this is a really good example of what an offset looks like. An offset allows for root intrusion to grow in at the joint. What an offset is basically where two sections of pipe join together, and that joint becomes off-centered over time. This offset in particular is not causing any blockage at the present time of inspection. So typically with root intrusion, as long as it is growing in from a joint, they can just be easily cleared out. So this is a good example. Root intrusion is growing in at the clay joint. This level of root intrusion is not enough to cause any blockages, and it is currently not causing any blockage at the present time of inspection in that particular offset. So water was ran prior to this inspection. As you can see, there is just a little bit of water flowing out towards the city sewer. All the water from the home eventually flows towards that city sewer connection that I was talking about earlier. And there is more root intrusion throughout the clay line. That's fairly typical to see, especially if the area has trees or any kind of shrubbery growing. Even freshly grown grass can get into the clay pipes if it's shallow enough. And there's just some debris within the line that should flush through with regular usage, water usage that is. And more roots growing in at the joint, and that's a piece of toilet paper or a napkin that was flushed through the line, and it's traveled about 100 feet away from the house. So with more water usage, that should completely just flow towards the city sewer. With about 105 feet remaining, again, it's perfectly normal to see roots within the clay and also offsets. Though the roots are not causing any blockage at the present time of inspection, I will recommend that the line gets hydrojetted. And what a hydrojet is basically a pressure washing of the line. It'll clear up any debris and roots that's within the line. They use a very high pressure water system that flushes everything out towards the city sewer. 50 feet remaining. And we have transitioned materials from clay piping to cast iron. Cast iron typically seen in homes built before the 1970s. So some issues with cast iron, one of them is called scaling. Scaling is basically a buildup of minerals that gets caked onto the interior side of the pipe, which is why the line looks like it's rough and it's blistering. That's just the buildup of minerals that gets caked onto itself over the course of the years. Also, the estimated service life of cast iron is about 60 years. I've seen many cases where it has surpassed 80 years. That's just kind of the case by case with cast iron. The cast iron in this case, the scaling looks relatively uniform, and the scaling is not causing any blockages at the present time of inspection. Making our way back from a turn. With about 30 feet remaining. So another issue with scaling is that it makes it hard to detect if there are any cracks or leaks on the exterior side of the pipe. With about 20 feet remaining. And now we're working our way back out the access point. Camera head's currently blurry because there is a little bit of grease in the line. And this concludes the inspection of the main sewer line. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to call, text, or email me. Thank you.